Welcome, everyone. I hope you're well as you're tuning in. Tonight's broadcast is a very special segment I'd like to call Cool Girl Action. It's self explanatory, really. It encompasses a show where I would like to show you cool girls in action. And while we're at it, I'd like to talk about them a little bit too, if you'll let me. Well, in any case, this is Elizabeth San Francisco, all the way from somewhere on the west coast of America, tonight with a cool little flick by the name of Dreaming the Reality, one of my favorite martial arts films. Dreaming the Reality is a film that caught my eye while looking through Moon Lee's filmography because of its interesting name. Dreams always evoke something surreal or ethereal, and with something like dreaming the reality, well, how could I not give it a watch? And ever was it worth it? This is Moon Lee during her reign as one of Hong Kong's biggest female stars, if not the biggest, smack dab in the middle of her career, releasing in 1991 to Hong Kong theaters, under the name
梦醒雪未停
which roughly translates to The Blood Doesn't Stop When You Wake Up, or Awakened from a Dream and the Blood Doesn't Stop. You get the idea. The movie features an all-star cast. Despite Moon Lee and the also incredible Yukari Oshima, the seasoned Sibel Hu stars as the film's main protagonist. And Sibel Hu definitely steals the show as Lan Fa, with her emotive expressions as the big sister character that is exasperated and yet still has fun with it. She's an ex-cop that plays comedic relief to her dim-witted brother who wants to be a boxer, rather than help her run their family pub, and even manages to fight in his place when he's poached by a malicious organization bent on using him for their own aims, taking on this lumbering lummox with relative ease. Oshima and Lee, on the other hand, play serious characters, raised from childhood to be assassins that work for their foster father, Master Fook, and his criminal organization. Their first assassination in the film goes horribly wrong, however, and juxtaposes two different kinds of reactions. Oshima's character, Black Cat, feels no remorse whatsoever at the bus full of children dying in the crossfire. This wicked bad girl personality is present in many of Oshima's characters, and so nothing out of the ordinary. Lee's character, Silver Fox, however, is faced with an internal conflict, as she finds the resolution of children's deaths to be unacceptable. She is, after all, Hong Kong's angel of action. However, later on, Silver Fox posits a question to her sister. What if she were to die? And her response? Well, she would die with her. Whatever her principles, Black Cat's sisterly bond would be paramount. Meanwhile, we have a third wheel thrown in the mix, a brother. Scorpion, looking like Michael Jackson's smooth criminal, eternally loyal to his father. He adds another dynamic to the conflict, a lurking figure on the same side throughout that becomes a major threat by the end of the film. As expected of both Moon Lee and Yukari Oshima, their movements are pristine and their choreography is fresh and eclectic. Not to mention the outfits, the baggy blouse with high-waisted pants and suspenders, and the loafers. It's just my style. I love it. And Oshima, she always looks phenomenal in black with her short, jet black hair. The plot really takes off when the duo are sent to Thailand, which is recurring in Moon Lee's filmography, to recover a floppy disk from a one David Smith, special agent of the International Crime Center, suffice to say Interpol. It's at the airport that they engage in a dramatic shootout, and also serves as the catalyst for Silver Fox's amnesia. This particular scene is filled with suspense, as the odds seem insurmountable. In the case of such a shooting at an airport, the Thai police surround them, as they have military police on standby. Luckily, Fox was able to evade the worst of it by jumping out of a window and stealing a motorcycle, the latter of which Kat also did, but only after using civilians as cover, as she was entirely surrounded. The difference is that Kat managed to get away in the end, while Fox's tires were shot out, causing her to slam into a tree, knocking her out, and propelling her into a river. Miraculously, she survived, and from there she wandered throughout the city, scared and injured. But where should she end up? Why, Sister Lan's cabin pub. And on a reluctant note, they decided to hide her from the police as Rocky, that's Sister Lan's brother, took a liking to her. Of course, in the interim, Silver Fox was assumed to be a traitor, which was exacerbated to Black Cat by the thoughts she had expressed previously about their way of life. Moving toward the final 30-odd minutes of the film is one of my favorite scenes, where the B-plot I've barely mentioned escalates, and Sister Lan threatens her brother's assailants with a grenade, or rather one that's really just a cigarette lighter. And this entire time, Fox still has the floppy disk, the disk their so-called father valued over any of his children's lives. And so eventually the B-plot baddies retaliate, and it evolves into a big shootout at the cabin pub, which Sister Lan candidly lies about to the police. This is also during the time that Black Cat is able to locate her sister, based on the mess that occurred, who had since recovered from her amnesia. Silver Fox wished her sister the best and handed her the floppy disk. At that point, she had made up her mind to walk away from the killing. But that wouldn't be tolerated, and the title comes into play. Silver Fox tells her sister of how she only dreams of the killing, of the yelling, and how it haunts her. She's dreaming of the reality, the blood that doesn't stop even after waking. But Black Cat doesn't want to lose her sister, the most important person in her world. And she knows the consequences, and so she does what she knows best, to fight. And it's a nice little exchange, tight movements and a classic high jump kick typical of Hong Kong action cinema. As a last resort, Black Cat pulls out her handgun and shoots twice, threatening her sister. She would rather die, however, than continue killing as she had been raised to do. And so Black Cat shoots her leg instead of her head. Sentimentality and all of that. It's then that Scorpion rears his ugly head and kills Black Cat swiftly, attempting to finish Silver Fox. Rocky jumps in to save her, and, well, he dies too. The film does well at not pulling any punches or bullets at this point, and taking out characters you've come to like. From there, Sister Lan joins the fray and wards off the predator. It's there that the two join hands and become sisters in arms on their own terms. I have to say that while there's always great chemistry between Oshima and Lee, I really love Lee and Hu as a team. All movie you can see it building up, or at least you're hoping that's what you're seeing. And when the main characters start dropping like flies, you hope Sister Lan is the one that makes it to the end with Silver Fox. Because for a moment you forget she's the protagonist because, well, it's Moon Lee. When the whole time, really, she was going to make it. The final shootout lasts a little over 12 minutes. The two had decided to lie in wait, knowing Silver Fox would be pursued. Sister Lan utilizes a shotgun while jumping from trees in some off-the-wall choreography that keeps you gripped with just what the hell will happen next. As Silver Fox fires an assault rifle, tripwires go off and the groups dance around each other. Scorpion and Fox's foster father each making their way to the opposing women. Her foster father ends up in the ultimate confrontation with his daughter, and she holds the floppy disk ransom as a result. The two engage as Scorpion runs away from shotgun blast after shotgun blast. Scorpion is a lot like a video game boss, seemingly unstoppable no matter how many times he's shot. And then Lan gets shot and you get wary for a moment. Not even tripwire explosions seem to stop him. Well, until that last one. So the fight with Silver Fox and her father. The choreography is fast and clean. Lee demonstrates her athleticism and flexibility as always, with precise movements and a series of intense exchanges before finally evolving into a final shootout. And just when it seems like it's all over, Lan saves the day with her trusty shotgun, which she gives to Fox. And she brings her egomaniac father to his knees, who's proud of her. He had raised the perfect killing machine he desired, but Silver Fox had changed. She would not grant him the satisfaction by killing him. Sister Lan would, though, Or would she? Same old tricks. There is, of course, a mixture of rather dying than getting arrested with his bravado for raising Fox as he did, that should be noted. And on a new note of bonding, Fox takes a puff of Lon's cigarette and the two surrender to the Thai police. There is a surprising amount of depth and development for an action film in Dreaming the Reality, and I can say I'm disappointed there hasn't been a proper remaster done, but this is typical of many older martial arts films, especially from Hong Kong, even with locally big names such as Moon Lee and Yukari Oshima. Also, unlike, say, Iron Angels, where to a degree the suspense is built off knowing what's going to happen, Dreaming the Reality leaves a lot of room for guessing, for hopes. And well, I guess if we got dramatic about it, dreams. In any case, I hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. As will be recurring, a Cool Girl Action showcase of the best of the film in question has to offer will be available shortly, along with a bit more discussion and analysis about the choreography and psychology of the characters themselves. Until then, this has been Elizabeth San Francisco, signing off.